justice for all.
Roll call. Alderman Tucker, Lingus.
Here.
Shackelford.
Here.
Marcus.
Here.
Jeffers.
Here.
Walters.
Here.
Piper. Arnold.
Here.
Approval of the agenda.
So moved.
Motion by Alderman Mingus to approve the agenda as is, seconded by Alderman Walters. Roll call, please. Alderman Arnold.
Yes.
Piper. Walters.
Yes.
Jeffers.
Yes.
Marcus.
Yes.
Shackelford.
Yes.
Mingus.
Yes.
Tucker. Thank you. Okay, before we get started tonight, I would like just to have a moment of silence for the people of Florida and really just everywhere. I think it's been a tragedy going around here. So many things. It's sad when you flip the news on and everything's negative. You never see anything positive. So if we could just have a moment of silence just for everybody, not just Florida, but just for all the negative things going on in this country, and hope the best. Thank you. All right, citizens' comments. Safety wig, water.
Hey, Hewitt, Ward 2. I'd like to say in 2012, actually we'll just say 2013, when the water bill was increased, that's been like 3.5 years now. When that was increased, the city per month, or per year, that was an increase of revenue of $800,000 to $840,000 a year. That's 3.5 years, okay? And what we've done in 3.5 years since that increase is one project that was like an infrastructure project, was the water towers, which was $480,000, which isn't even a half a year of revenue. And I would like to thank Mr. Alderman Jeffers here for wanting to work with the citizens and for the citizens and reduce water and sewer. And I feel that if we had projects planned for water and sewer, I think it would be a good idea to reduce our water and sewer. And I think it would be a good idea to put plans into place in the project, and we have an idea of the price. If we have to, we go up $5 a month for 6 months. We go up $5 a month for 14 months. Spend the money on what we need to do, reduce the rates back. I understand we own our own infrastructure here. So yes, we should be cheap. And I think the citizens deserve more than what they're getting out of the aldermen that we have representing us. And I would appreciate it if we would fill Mr. Tucker's seat immediately. Thank you.
Thank you. Dennis Dean. Mr. Dean speaking on the vacant lot properties.
Yes, I'm Dennis Dean. I live on Sunridge Trails North. There's a house behind me. The grass is probably 2-3 foot tall in the backyard. It's a good 2 foot in the front yard. And there's nobody living there. I think it's 302 West 2nd Street. And the siding is coming off the house. I understand the city has sent them paperwork to get the work taken care of. They're not going to do anything. The lady's deceased. The children aren't responsible. Something needs to be done. It seems to me that the city, I know in years past they would put liens on property, take care of the mowing or whatever, put a lien against the property. It seems to me the city could, there's other places in town got the same situation. It seems to me that the city could make this a money-making proposition for the council and the city, charge some very high fee to mow your grass, put a lien against the building. It's going to take time to get that money back. It's going to be legal expenses and stuff. Count that into your fee for mowing the grass. When you recoup that money, you could turn it into a money-making proposition and have money coming in from something that's now an eyesore and a problem. Take a problem, turn it into something positive. That's what I'm trying to do. I go out tonight, there's a dead possum behind my house, okay? That's what's happening because of the weeds and stuff like that. So I'd like to see if something can get done about it, okay? Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Dean. Sam, RT Holdings.
Sam Spatafor, Ward 2. I just got a quick question about the RT Holdings. Why did that take over a year to settle that? Anybody know?
You'll need to get with Mr. Brown on that during the business hours.
Okay, that's really not that really difficult of a question.
As I said at the last meeting, Sam, we're not answering questions during citizens' comments. Citizens' comments is just that, it's for you to make your comments.
Okay, well, here's my comment. For as far as I know, it's been settled, okay? I don't understand why it took over a year to settle a case where the gentleman stood right here and stated that he had documentation and the city did not. And at that time, Tom's comment was, well, basically you're screwed because we don't have documentation. The guy said, that doesn't say a whole lot about your city if you don't have documentation. Now, anybody has an elementary school education knows that if you show up in court, okay, and you got proof that somebody owes you money and the other person don't, you're probably going to be in a lot of trouble. So I'm a bit confused, other than if we're just prolonging cases for profit or what the story is, because that went on for a long time, and I sat right here. Now, you could say this was a different board, okay, which it was, but at the same time, I'm confused at how we get from a settlement, okay, to we don't really owe you anything. That's what basically happened. We went from April, I believe, of 2015 to we don't owe you anything to settling $37,000. Now, the real question that I have, and as someone that's attended virtually every single one of these meetings for at least 5 years, is we're going right back to the David Coram syndrome of let's just keep throwing these cases and running after them and things that should be settled. I mean, I don't understand that. For the life of me, I have no clue why you take an entire year to settle a $37,000 case at all, unless people are directly trying to profit from it. And what are the duties here of Mr. Westhoff and Mr. Dugan? I see Mr. Dugan sometimes at municipal court, and I see him here. I see Sean sometimes here, and then I see him at municipal court. What are their duties? Are we throwing everything under umbrella, or what?
Make an appointment with Mr. Brown.
Okay, so that's a way of getting around not saying the public.
Nope.
Yes,
No. Thank you.
Thank you.
All right.
Madam Mayor, before we start, last board meeting, there's constant talking out here, especially on my side, people making derogatory comments. It's really hard to concentrate out here for what's going on. Because, they want to talk, and go back to the room or leave. I don't care which one. But I'm tired, especially derogatory comments. We made one was made to Mr. Walters, which I thought was very inappropriate by Mr. Bewig. And I'm really just tired of it. Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, on to old business. Bill number 1406, record retention, second reading. Were there any questions or comments pertaining to it? Yes, sir.
Okay, if you're passing a law.
Microphone. Yes, use your mic.
This, is it on now? Okay, what, the section I get, it says we're going to do things according to reserve records. Okay? Why do we need to pass a bill that if we've already got a law that tells us what to do? And I don't know what the laws are supposed to, does it say that you have to keep them 3 years, that year? No explanation other than in Missouri, and if Missouri doesn't, I don't see why we need that. Are there any costs involved? And also, if there's cost involved, what account would it be charged to?
Well, the documents would be charged to whatever department they relate to. Okay, so if it's water documents, it would be charged to the water department. If it's court documents, it would be charged to the court department. It's just dependent on what records it would be. And basically, I mean, if you want to explain the legalities of why we would actually pass an ordinance, I mean, just because it's a state law, we should still have our own.
And that's exactly right, Mr. Jeffers. The purpose of passing our ordinance is to make sure that our people understand what our responsibilities are, and we have created our ordinance, and it's not exactly in line with every single thing that the state requires, and in fact, we've got a little extra built into it if you read it. So the point being is that We now have our own enacted ordinance that requires our people to do what we tell them to do without having to resort to the state.
So say the state says you have to keep a personnel record for 50 years, and maybe the city has had an issue where they needed to come back to something, so they've decided to keep the records for 75 years.
Okay,
That's-
but basically, you are not, this isn't any conflict with the Missouri state laws. We just maybe have more,
More restrictive.
more description or what's going in there. And the cost, you go keep it straight between the different departments as to the cost of destroying records. You can't do it even with people. I mean, you know, isn't that really kind of chasing, you know, trying to keep it all that even? Basically, you're not going to be doing that anyway.
Actually, most of the records that will be going through first are admin records. We have a whole room full of records dating back 35 years. A lot of these are just normal receipts, invoices that no longer have any value in the accounting world or anyplace else. Those are where we're going to start. Just emptying out those type of documents. We don't need them. They're not used for anybody. Nobody really requests them. So that's where we're going to start. Most of those are on the admin side.
Okay, did we go from keeping them 35 years to 30 years? Is this part of the Missouri law that was changed, or is it less? Does it anything to do with electronic records, or?
The law, the state law doesn't matter if it's electronic or hard copy. They set parameters, and it's actually set by the Department of Revenue. That's who sets the guidance on record retention. Department of Revenue says after so many years, after 5 years, I don't need these records anymore. We're not going to use them for anything. So there's not a single 30-year or 5-year. It depends on the type of document it is, and that's how the timeline is established.
Thank you.
Anything else? Anyone else? Okay, at this
I make a motion for bill number 1406 on its second and final reading by caption only.
we have a motion by Alderman Walters to put bill number 1406
I'll second it.
on its second reading by caption only, seconded by Alderman Arnold. Roll call, please.
Alderman Tucker, Minkus.
Yes.
Shackelford.
Yes.
Marcus.
Yes.
Jeffers.
Yes.
Walters.
Yes.
Piper. Arnold.
Yes.
Bill number 1406, an ordinance of the Board of Aldermen of the City of Ely, Missouri, authorizing the implementation of a record retention policy.
I'll make a motion we accept it as read.
Motion by Alderman Walters to accept it as read. Do we have a second?
Second.
Seconded by Alderman Minkus. Roll call, please.
Alderman Arnold.
Yes.
Piper. Walters.
Yes.
Jeffers.
Yes.
Marcus.
Yes.
Shackelford.
Yes.
Minkus.
Yes.
Tucker.
So moved. Bill number 1407, RT Holdings, first reading.
I'll make a motion we put it on its first reading by caption only.
Second.
Motion made by Alderman Walters to put on its first reading by caption only, seconded by Alderman Marcus. Roll call, please.
Alderman Tucker.
I got a question. Okay,
Let's finish the vote first. Hold on.
Alderman Tucker. Minkus.
Yes.
Shackelford.
Yes.
Marcus.
Yes.
Jeffers.
no,
Walters.
Yes.
Piper. Arnold.
Yes.
So moved. Bill number 1407, an ordinance of the City of Ely, Missouri, authorizing the mayor to sign the settlement document with RT Holdings LLC and to make payment to RT Holdings LLC in the amount of $37,000 to settle the currently pending lawsuit RT Holdings brought against the City of Ely, cause number 15JE-CC00311.
I'll make a motion we accept it as read on its first reading.
Motion by Alderman Walters to approve on its first reading by caption only. Do we have a second?
Second.
Seconded by Alderman Marcus. Roll call.
Alderman Arnold.
Yes.
Piper. Walters.
Yes.
Jeffers.
I'm going to vote no because I don't know exactly
Okay,
what.
we're gonna get to that. Just vote yes or no on
Well,
this
it's
one.
already,
This is
goes
just-
into discussion if I've already.
This is just the
voted.
first reading. We still go into
Oh, I thought we
discussion.
already did that.
This is the first reading right now.
Oh, yes, I'm sorry.
Are you,
Yes.
yes?
Marcus.
Yes.
Shackelford.
Yes.
Minkus.
Yes.
Tucker.
So moved. Okay, now we can open 1407 up. Any questions?
Okay, I did not know what, I thought we passed, I thought we voted on putting it up. I thought we passed Bill 1, I thought we were going into second. Mr. Walter said something about as read, and there wasn't anything that I wanted to know what as read was.
Oh. So basically, he was approving it based off just the caption up top, so as read. So that's where we're at. He's just not reading the entire ordinance. Okay? Okay, if there's no other further questions or comments, at this time I'll entertain a motion to put bill number 1407, RT Holdings, on its second and final reading.
Make the motion.
Motion by Alderman.
I'll second it.
Seconded by Alderman Arnold to put bill 1407 on its final read by caption only. Roll call.
Alderman Tucker, Mingus.
Yes.
Shackelford.
Yes.
Marcus.
Yes.
Jeffers.
Yes.
Walters.
Yes.
Piper. Arnold.
Yes.
Bill number 1407, an ordinance of the city of Jubilee, Missouri, authorizing the mayor to sign a settlement document with RT Holdings LLC and to make payment to RT Holdings LLC in the amount of $37,500 to settle the currently pending lawsuit RT Holdings brought against the city of Jubilee in cause number 15JE-CC00311.
I'll make a motion. I'll make a motion, we accept it as read on its second and final reading.
Motion by Alderman Walters to approve on its second and final reading. Do we have a second?
Second.
Seconded by Alderman Marcus. Roll call.
Alderman Arnold.
Yes.
Piper. Walters.
Yes.
Jeffers.
Yes.
Marcus.
Yes.
Shackelford.
Yes.
Mingus.
Yes.
Tucker.
So moved. Thank you. All right, Mr. Brown, healthcare.
We went up for, RFQs for insurance broker. We received 4. We haven't had a chance to go through these yet. The first glimpse on them looks like all of them are quality brokers on their own merit. We'll go through them this week, see if any can be eliminated. But what we're planning on doing is the workshop on Monday, 27th. Each of these firms will have 15 minutes to present to the board and to the public. As of right now, count on 4, there may be less, but I'm just kind of counting on 4 right now.
What time?
It starts at 5, so they'll run 5, 5:15, 5:30, 5:45.
Any questions or anything on that?
When was the date of the workshop? Is it the one coming up?
Yes, the 27th.
If I'm not there, how can I get the information?
All of you are welcome to come into my office and read through their RFQs. They didn't stay in your office, but you're welcome to come in, any of you. And I encourage you, come in and take a look at them.
Anything else on that? Now we'll move on to removal of parking signs.
Well, my name's on this one, but actually I think probably a couple of you up there have a bit of insight of what you want accomplished on this. What I need is for you to put a final list of what you want accomplished, so Sean and I can have an ordinance ready by July 5th meeting.
So if everybody can get their code signed.
Well, me and Russ drove through our ward tonight, and we came up with a list of the streets in our ward. So, we'll present it, the workshop or whatever, or just give it to Dickie.
Yeah.
And also a copy of it to Ron, so the police department can look at it. Okay?
Anybody else? No? Okay, if everybody wants to get their list together, run into their wards. If you don't have them, if you please go through them. Get rid of if you see any others.
It's kind of hard, like in some wrecks, since they're not in the city. I mean, the streets are not, haven't been, dedicated to the city. So, and I think maybe that's something we need to look at too, these areas that, I mean, I think Steve is the same way. He has several in there too. I know it's supposed to be 75% filled, but that doesn't always work out that way. And I know the people from Southern Heights have come several times complaining about the signs. There's no speed, there's no really good tickets and speed because they're not city streets. What's the other one? Hunter's Glen, Southern Heights, the Vineyards. So maybe that's something we need to look at the next workshop. Talk about it.
Yeah, let's do it. Did he? We're gonna get the, have everybody get them together and we will have a discussion on them if the workshop time allows. I know we've got a couple big things for the workshop, so we'll go from there. Okay? Okay, Mr. Jeffers, water and sewer rates?
Is that on now? Okay. I wanted to go over the history, and I went over with my bill about when we increased the water rates and sewer rates. At that time, my bill was $40, and the new rate was $67. I removed trash because that did not change. That gave you water and sewer for 24 on the old bill, and $51 on the new bill. That's an increase of $27. That's 112%. Was it needed? It probably was, because we had some projects that needed to be done, and the reserves had to be built up. And I think they made a loan and got it done, but the reserve did the required from the federal government on what we had to do with the sewers, and now we've been painted the water tanks. So the budget this year, okay, for water and sewer is a total of $2,338,000 in revenue, $1,625,000 in expenses. That leaves you a profit of $713,000. What I'm proposing is reducing the water rates by 10% and the sewer rate by 30%. That would change the revenue for the water from $936 to $842, and the sewer from $1,004,000 to $981,000. With these rates, if these rates were in effect, we would have the water and sewer would still be profitable. We'd still be putting $198,000 more in the reserve than was in the last year. And the reserve would have went from $4.5 million to $4,698,000. The reserve can only be legally used on items for for water or sewer in each case, and expenses to them. So that means water, sewer, maintenance, and expenses. That means people and everything else. I think that we've gotten the reserve high enough. Those reserves, I think, the water reserve is enough to cover 3 years of total expenses. The sewer reserve is enough to cover 2 years, 9 months of service. So I think the reserve is high enough that we don't have to keep going into it. Now it's time to get back to a normal rate. You're still going to have the profitable. You're still going to have to put more in the reserve, and that's what, even with the reductions, that's exactly what we would be doing. Why should we approve the reduced rates? Citizens are paying high rates to pay for sewer improvements required by the government, to pay for maintenance, water tanks, to build up reserve for unforeseen problems. Reserve can't legally be used for anything but water and sewer expenses. Any profit from the water and sewer can only go into reserve and will be used only with water and sewer expenses. These reductions will still leave water and sewer making a profit, you know. Now you get to the intangibles. The intangibles is that the people have been complaining about the water and sewer rates ever since they went in. I think if we reduce them, not only would the people appreciate it from us, but I think the businesses would be happier. When you got happier people and happier business, there's more likelihood that they'll bring in other people. You got unhappy people, they tell people not to come in. You got unhappy businesses, they saying the rates are too high. You don't want to come in here. We could get rid of those things. Like I did a lot of repeating, I'm sorry. One way to help pay for this is the $4,500,000 in reserve. Right now, we are getting a bank rate of interest of 0.25%. And 0.25% would be $11,250 on that money. If we took this money and put them in short-term U.S. treasuries and got 2%, we'd be making $90,000. So I think, you know, those type of things are just, you know, it's a no-brainer. I mean, you know, to talk about increasing the rates, just to increase the rates, I mean, right here, you have no reason to increase any of the rates. And right now, as it exists now, the water and sewer are making either reserve payments or a profit of 32%. If you put in the reductions I've got, they would still be making 9.2%, which is a good rate. And I think that if time has come, if there's anyone that is interested in how I got my figures, I got a copy of them. Happy to give them to you afterwards. And I hope the board acts on this action. Thank you.
Thank you. All right, Mr. Boyd with the main financial.
All right, first of all, Greg wanted me to inform you all that the auditors were in last week. They've completed all their field work, so they are just back doing internal work at the office. They completed their field work with no change. So it was very successful with the auditors, and we can expect a report here fairly soon. So we'll start in on the budget summary report. We're currently 41.6% of the way through our budget year. In the general fund, for total revenue, we have $1,283,000 of revenue, with $3,172,000 of budget for 40%, almost 41% of the budget. With total expenditures in the general revenue, or the general fund, 1.3 million versus the 3.1 million at 42%. So our revenue is under expenditures by $38,000. City Transportation Fund, revenue of $210,000, expenditures of $155,000. Both of those are running right on the budget or very close. So our revenue over expenditures of $54,000 versus the budget of $72,000. County Road Improvement Fund, our revenue was $119,000 versus a budget of $1.1 million, which is only 10%, but we've not received any of the grant fund that we budgeted. And with our expenditures here, we've got 20,000 versus 1.2 million in expenditures. It's only 1%, and we have a big infrastructure project that's on the budget that has not begun. So that's why we haven't received any grant income, or why we're also low budget on the expenditures. Next page on the mid fund, revenue of 100,000 versus the budget of 350,000. And our expenditures of just over 400,000 versus the budget of 495,000. You see the expenditures we're running at 83%. However, we've already made our loan payment for the year that takes the entire year's budget. And so currently we're revenues under expenditures of $311,000. City Hall Fund, revenues to $122,000 versus the budget of $326,000. Very close to budget there. Expenditures, though, were at $203,000 versus the $284,000. Once again, we've already made our loan payment for the year. It's an annual budget. So currently, we're revenue over expenditures, or I'm sorry, revenue under expenditures by $80,000. Water fund revenue $374,000 versus the budget of $935,000. This is right on par with our budget. Expenditures $283,000 versus the budget of $807,000. We're at 35% there, and we have rather large infrastructure project there that has no expenses yet for that. And then finally, the sewer fund, $570,000 of revenue versus $1.4 million of the budget. Puts us right at 41%, and the expenditures $211,000 versus the budget of $817,000. We're only 26% there, and it's like the others. So we have loan payments that have not been paid yet, that have an annual budget, and there's very little going on with the infrastructure that we have a budget for. A couple more pages back, the summary of the cash accounts. In the general fund, we're currently running at $1.7 million in the general fund. City transportation fund, $800,000. County road improvement fund, $788,000. The mid fund, we currently show a deficit of $137,000. City hall fund, $227,000. Water fund, we've got $2.1 million, and the sewer fund, $2.6 million, and then $13,000 in the stormwater fund, for a total of $8.2 million. And then finally, the debt service accounts. The mid debt service, we currently have a $522,000 balance. City hall debt service, $358,000, and the sewer debt service of $57,000, for a total of $937,000. All that combined with the cash, we have almost $9.2 million. That's about it. If there's any questions for me at this time.
On the water,
Yeah.
salary raise, last month I asked why it went up. So we were, like, it was like, 13,000 average for the first 3 months, it went up. I was told that it was adjustments for corrections for people that should have been charged to the water department. And so I asked how many people were being charged to the water department. I thought that 3 people worked in there, and that, they were charging an additional 2 people to it. And I did not know how many people are we charging to the salaries in the water department?
That I'm not sure exactly how many we have in the water board.
This is what we talked about at the last meeting. I told you
Right.
to get with Dickie and then if he
I
could
did,
go
but
over.
Dickie was not able to tell me how many were in there, right? That's why I came back and asked him. When I was talking to you, and we're talking about the allocation of people to the, water department,
Yes, I do.
and you said you didn't know how many,
If I wasn't clear, you just come back in and we'll discuss it again. We can go over it a second time, that's not a problem.
know?
If you'd like to make an appointment at this time, you can please be
This is
quiet.
transparency.
Mr.
This
Beway,
is transparency,
you
Mayor.
can either be quiet or you can leave.
I'm not
That's it.
leaving.
I'm done.
This is a public meeting.
Respect everybody here and be quiet. Thank
Respect
you.
us, please, Mayor.
Madam Chairman.
Leave.
Madam Chairman.
Officer Corley, he can leave. Mr. Brown, so if you can explain to him, just make an appointment, and then Mr. Jeffers, you guys can get together and go through each employee, that way he can explain it to you a little bit further in
I
detail.
know it's not your fault.
Okay.
this will be different than what we had when I talked to you earlier this week,
I'll
last week.
run some accounting points on payroll, and I'll find out who's charged that account exactly.
Okay.
And that way you can get your actual numbers.
Right.
Okay? All right, any other questions?
On the sewer department, did we transfer any of the new laborers to the sewer department also?
I'll sure we can run that report also. We'll run both reports for you.
I'm sorry?
I'll run both reports for you.
Okay, thank you.
Any other questions? All right, the May accounts payable report, was there any questions or comments on that? Please report, or the court report? No? All right. Alderman Jeffers, do you have any?
Yeah. Thank you all for coming again. If you can't ask questions after the meeting, I will be out there with my sheet and I will answer your questions the best I can. Does that mean that no one seconded it, that my proposal is dead?
You didn't make a motion. You just asked everybody to consider it. But you didn't make a motion for everybody to vote on
Okay,
anything.
so I should ask for a motion the next time.
Right, if you're wanting to bring forward something, a change or a law or something to be addressed, then you would make a motion to the board and then someone would second it for you.
Okay, so this will, then will that go to the workshop?
Well, we would really
I
need
will-
to discuss
yeah,
your
work-
plans at a workshop, yes.
Okay. Okay, so that would be a workshop that I'm at, because I can't make it to the next.
Okay, then yeah, we would discuss those kind of options at the workshop, and if we come to an agreement, then we would come to the board, and that's when we would put it on the agenda for a vote.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome. Okay, Alderman Marcus?
I'm still working on the cities, everything else getting together. I'm waiting for Kim's wait to get back to me in Crystal City. And I've told Mr. Jeffers at times what's going on, so.
Anything else?
Oh, ma'am.
Alderman Walters?
Well, I got a few things. I'd like to thank the Peabody Police Department for delivering Meals on Wheels last Thursday, and are also going to deliver them this Thursday. The Quad City Senior Center is hard up for people to deliver Meals on Wheels in Peabody. They have multiple routes, and people are going on vacation. People can't get they can't get their food delivered to them, so the Peabody Police Department is going to deliver again on Thursday. I delivered, I'm going to deliver tomorrow in Peabody. They have all kinds of routes open in Peabody. The ladies that normally do it are on vacation, so Peabody is sort of stranded there, so it'd be nice if residents could find the opportunity to go out and help your community. I know lots of people like to complain about Peebly. Well, here's a chance to do something for yourself to help you feel better about Peebly. Stick your nose up, Brenda, that's funny. But I also would like to see Peebly consider, the board consider changing the name of Park 1 to the Veterans Memorial Park instead of Stacy Reese Park. You know, it'd be nice if we get a monument and we added all the veterans, all the different wars, you know, instead of just strictly one person, and commemorate everybody. Because right now it's the Stacy Reese Park instead of the Veterans Memorial Park would make more sense to include everybody in Peebly. And I'd like to say that I went to the Missouri Municipal League meeting and conference out in Columbia last week, and it was real nice. Learned a few things. So anyway, thank you.
All right, Alderman Jefferson.
Yes, not on this workshop, I was extremely busy, but the following workshop, I'd like to maybe revisit TNR and have our animal control officer here at that meeting. And the lot that Mr. Dean spoke of, me and Ed both drove by it today, and it does look very bad. Is there any way we can maybe start looking at doing something with that lot?
The lot that the gentleman mentioned previously, can we get some work on that?
On what second?
Actually, we are exploring that. What we're probably going to have to do, because that individual passed away, it's in probate, that's where it's at now. Probably will be there for a while. Doesn't have a lot of value apparently. We'll have to have somebody come in and mow it, put a lien against it, and just continue doing that until some set time. I mean, that's all we can do.
That's all.
Thank you. All right, Alderman Mingus?
Nothing.
Alderman Arnold?
No, I went to Columbia for the training as well, and it was well worthwhile. And I want to thank the police department. You know, you look at the report of all the tickets and all of the stops and all the calls that they answer, and you don't really hear a lot of bad. You have that many stops and that many calls. You guys are doing a good job. And I appreciate you doing the Meals on Wheels and your guys, and I see them out there all the time. You know, I just want to thank you.
I'll make sure they know it.
I would like, since it is heating up out there, maybe if you could, I don't know if you have a program where you stop and check on the elderly a little bit.
Not an official formal program. We occasionally run into some older folks that we.
That's just something
we
I'm pretty passionate about. Not everyone's got AC, and
Sure.
but thanks for all you do. That's all I have.
Mr. Brown?
I need to defer mine to the chief, sort of updating the community on an event coming up next week. Tony talked to you about Union Pacific.
Oh, like the railroad? Yeah, apparently, the railroad is going to come. Apparently, the railroad's going to come down and film pretty much a commercial at our main street down here where it crosses. And it's going to be next Tuesday, and the time that we've got, as close as we can get, is from 6 p.m. to 10 p.m. in the evening. And my understanding is it's going to be a commercial to Union Pacific Railroad. I don't know what all it entails. They will be shutting down that intersection for a period of time. As we get more details, we'll be sure and let everybody know. We are currently going to have 2 officers up there to make sure that there are no problems. One of the biggest things I can see, particularly at 6 o'clock, there's a lot of people that use that as a road to get into our city or leave our city. So we're kind of hoping that they make some kind of arrangements where it's not right at 6 o'clock, but it's still in the discussion phase right now.
Nothing else? Okay. I had a couple of things. Unfortunately, I didn't get with Chief quick enough, but I was wanting to have Officer Shealy here. I would just like to let everybody know that he received an award from the Optimist Club for respect for law. Lieutenant Mutray had written a letter here and said, first of all, I appreciate you asking input of this award. I know we have a few hard workers that are deserving of the awards. However, my personal opinion of Tim Shealy, while I understand he's a middle-of-the-road cop, he has always kept a positive attitude through any changes in the department has gone through. He is a guy that has remained loyal to the department and faithful to his work. Tim has approached newly assigned tasks with full enthusiasm, and even when being told his own personal requests will have to be put on hold, I can always expect a hey, whatever you need answer from him. Aside from work, I can personally attest to Tim's loyal personality with his family life as well. He has been married to his wife for 20 years, raised children, and currently care for their grandchildren from time to time. I know Tim off duty as well, and on my glasses. I know Tim off duty as well, and on what you see is what you get. A truly caring individual who constantly puts others' needs before his own. Respectfully, Lieutenant Mutray. So I would just like to congratulate Officer Shealy for a great job. I know he does go above and beyond out there, so if you can please let him know to come into the office, I'll try getting a hold of him too, but I just wanted to address that we really appreciate all of his hard work, and for getting this award is a pretty big deal. Also, the last thing I wanted to say too is I wanted to congratulate Chief Weeks on his basket of goodies he got from a child at Peebly Primary. The little boy had brought him a basket of goodies, telling him thank you for protecting him and getting him to school safe. So it's pretty neat that they thought of that to do that. So thank you also for your hard work and dedication too.
No problem, thank you.
Thank you. If there is nothing else tonight, I will take a motion to adjourn. Motion by Alderman Walters, seconded by Alderman Minkus. All in favor?